how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Beth?
I'm doing well, doing well. First off, I wanted to say I absolutely love the Radleys, so thank you for putting it out there.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
Um, so can you explain how you came to be the director for this?
Yeah, the script came across my desk, and it was in an early form. There'd been one adaptation that had happened, and I've always loved vampire movies since I was a little kid, and I've loved the darkness, and I've loved the mythology of being able to one character being able to transform a human being into another entity. There's a magic to it that's always appealed to me. But when I read this script, I realized that this was a brand new take on the genre that I'd never seen before. What happens if the vampires are living in suburbia amongst us? How would they cope with their dark desires? Um, and in this story, they repress them by following the 13 steps of the Abstainer's Handbook, which is a vampire's guide to staying clean. And what feels really exciting to me is that it's an opportunity to explore addiction through the lens of a vampire genre, and it feels fresh and new and something that we've never seen before.
That was one thing that I wanted to like dive into right away was that we are so used to glamorizing vampires that seeing them in this way, seeing it almost as an addiction and seeing them go through that and stuff, it was just so unique. Um, Were there any like vampire tropes that you really wanted to keep, even though you wanted to stray away from the like stereotypical glamorization?
Um, Well, we dabble with lots of little details of vampire lore. We've got vampires who can see their reflection. Our vampires can see their reflections in mirrors, but garlic not so good. They are allergic to garlic. They can go out into the sunshine, but only if they wear factor 50 sun cream. They can visit each other in their houses, but like they have to be invited in first. We didn't do a stake through the heart, but exactly. But we did a version with an estate agent or a real estate agent's stake through the heart. So we've played with lots of the rules, lots of the vampire lore throughout the film, and had some fun with it. And I hope the audience enjoys that when they watch the film.
I definitely did. It was like little Easter eggs kind of sprinkled throughout. One thing that I especially loved was Damian Lewis playing two characters, playing twin brothers, which, from what I understand, is very different from the source material that you're pulling from. Why have Damian play both of these roles?
We decided that the really interesting things about the brother is that they're two sides of the same coin, and Talitha, the writer, and I were talking a lot about this. You know how that the really interesting thing is that they both take very different choices in life, um, and then we realized that if we made them twins, then they would be genetically identical, but it's their life choices that have taken them on these different tangents. And then that led us to figuring out that we wanted one actor to play both. And Damien's the kind of actor who's, he's got such incredible range that we've seen him be funny in films. We've seen him play these good, light-hearted characters, but we've also seen him play characters with such moral debauched depths, like in Billions or in Wolf Hall, that I knew that he would be able to kind of reach those extremes, but not only make us feel for both those characters on the journey, but intellectually, he really makes you understand that what the moral cost is for both those characters. And what I really wanted to do was to get the audience to kind of think, what when watching the film, which way would I have gone? What would I have done? What are the moral choices I'd have taken if I'd be in this situation? Which I think is not an easy answer. You might think, oh yeah, abstaining is the right way to go because at least you don't hurt anybody, but it's kind of boring. And then Will kind of goes out there and drinks as much blood as he wants, and has the most amazing time, but at what moral cost? Because there's a trail of death and destruction behind him. Um, so a really interesting moral exploration of those two characters from Damien.
And I think having him play both of those really muddied the waters even more. So it was just really cool to see, for sure. Um, so when people watch this movie, like what is like the one thing that you're just so excited for them to see?
Um, I'm like one of my favorite scenes in the film is when like the parents, right, in this story, they've lied to their kids. They've not told the kids, their teenage kids, what they really are. And and when parents do that, there's a point inevitably where the truth has to come out and something horrible, horrific happens in our story. And it forces the parents into a situation where they have to sit them down and they have to say, listen, there's something we should have told you years ago. The truth is that we're vampires. And the kids, the kids are like, what the, they can't believe what the parents are saying to them because it's so laughable and ridiculous. And I think in some ways it encapsulates almost everything that this film is. It's what would happen if your parents really were vampires and had to sit you down and give you that piece of truth. And it feels so real and relatable. It's the sort of conversations parents and kids have in other contexts all the time. There's something I need to tell you about the world. Sit down, sit down. There's a truth I need to share with you. But in this instance, is about them being vampires. So I'm really excited for the audience to see that and hope that the audience is as entertained by it as I am.
It was great, for sure. Um, I am just about out of time, but is there anything else that you wanted to add before I let you go?
Um, hmm. Can I tell you about Kelly MacDonald and how wonderful I think she is?
Of
Um,
course.
she, she's an actor who, we've seen her be incredibly emotional. We've seen her in Train Spotting as a very warm character. But I think what this film shows the world is how funny she is. She can be truthful and emotional and real and hilarious at the same time, and not many actors can pull that off.
Oh yeah, she was excellent for sure. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Again, I love the movie and I can't wait to see what comes next from you.
Thanks, Beth. I'm glad you enjoyed it.